Hi, welcome to your wine tasting. I'm Steph from Wine and Such, and I'm going to do a little bit of an intro into your wine tasting for you. So first thing, you should have already had your box of wine. Make sure you've got the whites and the rosés and any of the reds that I've labeled chilled and in the fridge. Grab your wine glasses, one per person is fine. If you have enough for two, that makes it even better. And the last thing is just make sure you have some water. So the first thing I want to go through is the different styles of winemaking. So we kind of lump them in conventional winemaking, and then the stuff that we focus on here at the shop, which I kind of call low intervention, which uses organic, biodynamic, and natural wines. So what is conventional winemaking? Conventional winemaking is using very conventional techniques that are actually kind of new to us, but using things like chemicals in the field, fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides. They're going to use machines to help harvest the grape. And then in the actual winemaking, they're allowed to use up to 56 different additives in the EU. Things that help speed up fermentation, flavor enhancers like tannin, acid, sugar. They can even use actual yeast strains to dictate kind of what flavor they want to get out of that wine. Whereas in the low intervention winemaking, they're taking a very hands-off approach. So organic wine, you probably know what that is. That means no chemicals in the field, no pesticides, herbicides, and then they can actually be organic in the winery as well. So they have a smaller amount of things they can add to the wine, and they have a lower amount of sulfur they're allowed to use. Sulfur is the preservative of wine. And they, in organic wine, can be certified in the winery as well if they're using all organic products. The next one is biodynamic wine. So biodynamic is a bit of a hooey term. Some people think, they laugh at it, but I like to think of it as a whole philosophy that is about being integrated with the land and not just taking away from the land. So they like to make sure whatever energy they take from the grapes and from the land, they also give back to it. They don't use any chemicals in the fields. They do things like they follow the moon cycle. So certain patterns, when the gravitational pull is stronger, they'll do certain things in the vineyards. And they also make sure they have polyculture, so different plants planted so that it's not just grapes. And they'll use animals instead of chemicals. So they'll often have like chickens eating the insects in the field, which is quite cool. Big thing for this one to me is they're taking so much care. So we have a wine on the shelf where the gentleman, if he thinks part of the vineyard is not doing so well, he'll plant amethyst crystals. Sounds absolutely bonkers, but I think if he's taking that much time and that much care about that one part of the vineyard, think about how much time and care he's taking and actually making his wine, what quality it's going to be. Then the last one is natural. So the first two you can be certified. A lot of our wines are not certified because they're just such small producers, they can't afford the certification, but they follow all the practices. Natural, there's no certification, there's no actual even legal definition for this one. So on the strict end of it, you have what people call 0-0. That means you're not adding anything to the wine and you're not taking anything away. So by adding, you're not using any additives and you're not using any sulfur and you're not taking anything away, so you're not filtering, fining, or doing any kind of manipulation. You must use wild yeast as well. I am a bit more lenient in as long as they're doing stuff with intent and not to cover up anything or kind of fix bad winemaking practices in the winery. If they add up to about 30 milligrams of sulfur, I think that's fine because it's just helping keep that bottle fresh, make sure it doesn't get spoiled. So natural winemaking is kind of the newest thing, and the flavors you often get will be a bit more wild, is the best way to describe them, a bit more adventurous because of those wild yeast. They're not manipulating everything. So those are the types of wines that we focus on. So you've got a good mix in your box. Next thing we're going to talk about is how to taste a wine. So you're going to follow the S's. So the first one, you're going to see your wine. You're going to look at it. You're going to see the color, the clarity. Is it fizzy? Is it hazy? All those good things. The next one you're going to do is you're going to swirl the wine. Give it a swirl, and this just helps coat the glass so you can smell more of the aromas. Then you're going to smell your wine. Big sniff. I like to keep my mouth open a little bit. It helps bring all those aromas back into what's called the retronasal area, so you get deeper smell. And then start to deduce what are you smelling. I've got a white wine here, so I usually am looking for citrus, maybe some green apple in there, and start to pick out, is it just citrus you're getting, or you smell, like this one I can smell a lot of grapefruit. And then you're gonna sip and slurp. It sounds really obnoxious and it's a bit weird, but getting that air in there, what it does, gets the wine all over your mouth, and as you get really in there, get great good taste. So you're looking for the acidity. That's how juicy it makes your mouth, how much it makes your mouth pucker. You're looking for tannins. That's the dryness and how much it makes your teeth kind of stick. And you're looking for the weight of the wine or the body. So is it a thick, heavy wine? Is it light and spritzy? Does it have a long finish? And the last one is kind of the texture. So sometimes you'll have like a waxy wine, which, you know, it feels like almost like it's coating your mouth, or oily. Sometimes the wines are really light and spritzy. And most of all, just enjoy it, because that's why we're at the wine tasting. All right, I hope you have a good time. We've got another video for your first wine, and then you're off to do it on your own. All right, great. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye.